I'm going to show you a fly casting drill that's been very useful. I found very useful over the years, and it's a really good exercise. And it has an addition. Usually it's for somebody who's been fishing for 10, 15, 20 years and they come to the first lesson, and it's a very good drill for that. But it's also quite a good one because there's a lot of people I've noticed nowadays fishing rods that are very stiff and then feeling they've got to overline them by 2 or 3 line weights sometimes. And this will actually teach you how to use the rod correctly aligned. You might not like it, in which case you bought the wrong rod, but this exercise will help. And many years ago, I think it was probably 1997, I met Mel Krieger and we did some teaching together in the UK, and he had a very interesting exercise, and I'm going to start with that. And he would basically take a rod without any line strung up and ask a student just to bounce it, just to, or whoomp it, as he would say, but just to feel it. What you're basically doing here is you're feeling this rod unloading. The rod's bending against its own weight. You don't actually need a line to bend the rod, and just making this movement here. And me personally, I like to turn my hand slightly over so that I'm using the wrist in this plane and not this one. I think you'll probably find the same thing. So the palm is slightly forwards, and you want to get it backwards and forwards, and your hand's got to be pretty relaxed to feel this. But obviously there's also a squeeze stop in there. Some people call it the microsecond wrist, the speed up and stop, all these things. It's this last little movement, and you should feel this rod vibrating under your hand. Okay, so first try that, and then one I made earlier, put a line through it. Now you're probably going to want to put out 30, 40, 50 feet of line out there, because I know that's how it is. But actually that's like trying to start in 3rd gear, and all you really want to do is put out maybe 5 or 6 feet of fly line outside the rod tip in 1st gear. Now the only time I start in 3rd gear is if I'm bump starting a car on a very steep hill. You know, and there are times in fishing when we do that. We do pick up a long length of line and move it around. But what we really want to do here is what is this rod going to feel like in 1st gear? And that means a very short length of line. And just the same movement that we were doing there, feeling this bounce in the rod. And we're trying now to, I don't know if you can see that, you probably can't. I haven't got my instructor rod for a start, but I am throwing loops there that are, you know, just a few inches wide, and that's what you're aiming for. Just backwards and forward. I'll put it off the side here, maybe you see it. Just this small movement. This is not 10 to 2, you might have noticed. So here, nice short movement, doesn't take very much power. Then maybe add another few feet of line and repeat. Okay, now you will find at some point, I have to add a few more feet of line now, but you will find at some point that line will hit the tip of the rod if that's all you do. Okay, so what we have to do there is we have to lift our hand into the back cast and lower it on the forward cast, which will give that line a chance to clear the rod tip. It's basically because we've got a longer length of line, gravity has more time to get hold of the line, and it's going to lower it and it clips the rod tip. So we just got to get that rod tip out the way. But it's still that same small, minimized movement. Another good exercise at this point is to try to put out just such effort that the loop doesn't unroll. Okay, and you'll be surprised if you've got a tight loop how little effort it takes actually to fully get that loop to unroll. And if you can't get it to unroll, then you just add just that little bit more of effort at the end, and it will straighten. Okay, but this short to long, I think, is very important. Start off, I've actually got a braided leader here that somebody sent me, a furled leader, and this is me just casting the leader. And you can do that with monofilament too. You can just cast a monofilament leader. I don't know about you, but I catch a lot of fish just here. Okay, you should do. So you've got to get good at this, and this will teach you how to cast the rod in 1st gear. Then you gradually increase the line, and as you increase the line, you'll have to increase the arc a little bit, but you work that out. And then as you get further, you'll increase. You can then open up to your 10 to 2 or whatever. But this short to long, this 6 feet to 18 feet to 28 feet, this, you know, as you build it up, this is key. So it's just a very good exercise to practice. And now something else you can do, you can take, you can start messing around. You can take all your rods and you should do it with all the tackle you've got, but then you should start mixing and matching tackle. You can put a 4-weight line on a 10-weight rod and see how, and if you do this, you can make it work. And you probably won't like it, but it will certainly work, and you can get very nice, you can get exceptionally tight loops with that sort of outfit. And you can do it the other way. You can take your 10-weight line and put it on your 4-weight rod, and you'll find that you've got some adjustments right from the start with that, because the rod's going to bend quite a lot more when you've got a 10-weight line. So, but it's all in here. It's all in this casting art, this initial casting art from this very short length of line. Anyway, I hope that's useful.